This has been a ongoing living document that has had changes being made, and I just want everyone to understand, though, that the agreement has not been totally finalized, as any legal agreement still has some things that need to be closed. We obviously have a good spirit of cooperation, and have identified a general framework as to what we believe could lead to the long-term viability of the convention center and put it on stable financial footing. As you recall, we began this process about a year ago, where we laid out some general provisions to help rectify the funding issues that the facility was having. It served as a good framework to begin with. There have been changes to it, a lot of give and take. I'd say that it really has involved a partnership from all parties. Everyone's worked very hard in doing this. Everyone is sacrificing to be part of this as well, in order to make this work. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to go through the different key components of this deal and talk about the what's next, and also be able to thank the partners, and if anyone would like to say anything as well. Guys, you can feel free to come on up with us here. I include you two wells if you'd like. All right. Angie, is it the red one? All right. I just want to make sure. I'm going to turn it off. Okay. The premise, the deal requires a 7-year participation from the City of Lancaster, Penn Square Partners, and the Lancaster County Convention Center Authority. The agreement requires a 5-year participation from Wells Fargo and the Lancaster County Pennsylvania Dutch Convention and Visitors Bureau. Sorry. PDCVB. Some of the key components. With the City of Lancaster, and they've already taken some action on some of this, is agreeing to contribute $100,000 annually for 7 years through RACL, the Redevelopment Authority of the City of Lancaster. I know that they've already approved 5 years worth, and I believe they have on our agenda or working towards shifting that to 7 years. The city also, though they cannot guarantee, and this is something that is an either-or situation, the city's advocating for this CRIZ zone, which you may have read about, to contribute $5 million from 2014 through 2020 to help meet the FF&E, furniture, fixtures, and equipment needs of the facility, something that's a critical component of it. And if the CRIZ will not be awarded to the city over that time, the city has agreed to guarantee a total of $2 million over that same time frame to help meet FF&E needs. I'd like to say we feel really confident and good about that process, and the fact that the CRIZ will be awarded to Lancaster. A lot of folks have worked really hard on that, and I highly commend the mayor and his team and Senator Smucker for the work they really did in helping to make this reality. Have been extremely cooperative to this whole process, and I'm sure that the mayor will add some comments about that here in a little bit.
Okay.
So we appreciate that. For the Lancaster County Convention Center Authority, the LCCA agrees to make payments to support the marketing of Priority 1 and 2 events in the amount of $35,000 in 2014 and $85,000 annually the remaining 6 years. They also agree to make annual payments supporting marketing budget of $97,000. If you recall, about a year and a half ago, Sports and Leisure, they had a study done. This is something that we found was a deficiency in getting out to these Priority 1 and 2 events, as it outlined some other things. This is one component. This is more than just trying to solve the debt issues of it, but the marketing, the FF&E as well. So we are excited that they're going to be able to contribute in that fashion. What we're asking of Penn Square Partners, and we're still trying to iron out a lot of the details surrounding the private sector's component in this, is I would like to see the PSP make annual payments to market Priority 1 and 2 events of $100,000 a year over that 7 years. I would like to see them annually forgive $50,000 of the LCCA's debt to Penn Square Partners, which adds up to a total number of about $700,000 that the authority is in debt to PSP. Did I say PCP? I mean, but that's not part of this press conference. We also allow the LCCA to provide concession services at the facility for that full 7 years and not have that revoked in any fashion. The approximate value of that is about $100,000 annually. So what we're looking at in Spirit is about a $250,000 annual commitment over the course of that 7 years, or a $1.75 million, I believe, if my math is correct, commitment by PSP. That's what we're shooting for, and hopefully we will have ironed out over the course of the last extension that we're in. The Pennsylvania Dutch Convention and Visitors Bureau, what we're working towards with them, as you know, the clawback, with the exception of one quarter, has been in effect, where they typically would receive 20% of the 3.9% hotel tax. Given that the facility's debt reserves fell below the $5.2 million that clawback occurred, there was a brief period of time at the beginning of this year that they received it back for a quarter. My original plan did not have them receiving any funding over the course of the 5 years from last August, but I think every party will acknowledge the importance of marketing Lancaster County as a whole destination. I know they've been really operating on a lot of their reserves, their financial health, and which is directly correlated with the health of a lot of the tourism industry, and here in Lancaster County is critical. So Wells was gracious in their term sheet to acknowledge that after 24 months, if the Convention Center Authority's reserves are at $6 million, they would be eligible to receive 20% of the hotel tax back, which would be due a couple weeks after the test is done at December 31st, 2015? 16, sorry. That they would get that back. I think it's very important that occur. The numbers that we're looking at in our spreadsheets that even show 1% hotel tax growth shows the authority's reserves would be well above that, and our goal is to make sure that we're able to have monies coming back to the Visitors Bureau for destination marketing. So that's a very important component. Now, Wells Fargo. I'm sure those guys are sick of me after a year, but actually, you know, it's I really commend. We have Don Scott here, Vice President of Wells Fargo, Tom Esser as well. It's been a long, strange dance, but we've really looked under every stone, looked at every different option that's out there. There have been many ideas put forth on how to remedy these situations, and we've looked at every single one and what would be in the best interest of this deal. And what we found in analyzing everything is to give the Lancaster County Convention Center Authority 125 basis point reduction in interest costs. Now, to show you the gravity of where we're at in that deal is the fact that my original plan had asked for a 60 basis points reduction, and Wells has graciously agreed to put 125 basis points on the table, which is equivalent of about $800,000, give or take, savings annually, and a total of about $4 million over the course of that 5-year deal. They also agreed, because we had some timing issues as to when the CRIS could go into place, and they also agreed to extend the current deal till January 2nd, 2014. They're working with us that once all partners are on board to offer some pricing relief even during that time, and we're working towards that. I'm very grateful that they're here, standing here today. I know they've worked very hard, and not only with themselves, but other folks involved in the organization and their credit department. But I think this is a very big deal, and what that is correlated with, if all the partners execute the agreement, in order to get that 125 basis points from Wells, the County of Lancaster would agree to putting on our agenda an ordinance providing for a full surety guarantee via the hotel tax of the LCCA's debt, which should be placed on our agenda for consideration. Now, I often remember, and this is something that I've had a lot of back and forth with in my mind, looking at what role in terms of putting property taxpayers in jeopardy. I think every partner here can tell you that I'm 100% committed to not putting this in the property taxpayers' laps. The facility needs the work, And if it doesn't, and this is the only thing I'll say that doesn't, before it ever gets to paying general fund dollars, the hotel tax needs to be what's paying off the existing debt. And to give you an example, the authority pays $170,000 about a month in debt. The hotel tax, I'm just giving an example for 2012, the average monthly collection rate on the hotel tax was a little over $400,000 a month. But it's not only this current board's role, but even future boards' roles to ensure the county general fund dollars are never put at stake and never utilized for operational costs at this facility, and it's something I really believe that we should stand behind. The plan does not include an increase to the hotel tax. It will remain at 3.9%. Some highlights of the agreement. I believe it sets the Convention Center Authority on solid financial footing, including for future refinancing. It does fund FF&E. Obviously, it funds marketing for priority 1 and 2 events and has concessions by all partners. The things to look for the future, obviously added attractions in Lancaster County and things that draw people here and put heads in beds are very important. We see improvement in this local economy, or in the tourism economy, we see improvements in the taxes performance. The tax has been doing very well. When you see things also like the Spooky Nook Sports Complex and talks of possible other hotels going in, that can help the situation. The one thing we've been really keeping an eye on, that in the beginning, even looking at possibly refinancing this deal, there is a swap termination fee that at the time was about $25 million, which really kind of did not help in trying to look at different options to refinance this. The fee right now currently is down to about $14 million, so it's been moving in the right direction. Obviously, in 5 years, we'll have to look at, again, where we're at in the deal. We'll have to continue our conversations with Wells. We'll have to see where the swap termination fee is at that point in time. But I'm very optimistic that with what's being put in by the partners, that this will go a long way at setting this thing up for success in the future.